I coach individuals with little to no experience in healthcare information technology, helping them transition from feeling uncertain about their expertise to becoming confident subject matter experts. My goal is to empower you to accelerate your career growth and thrive in your daily professional interactions, equipping you with knowledge and skills needed for success in the healthcare IT field.
Healthcare systems.
Oh, tell me about it.
They can be so confusing.
Absolutely.
So today we're doing a deep dive into two of the biggest ones. We're looking at US, and Canada. We're going to figure out how they work and, importantly, how healthcare business analysts, or HCBAs, are trying to, make sense of it all.
And it's fascinating work. I mean, they're really analyzing everything, the nuts and bolts of how these healthcare businesses like hospitals, those big insurance companies, everything, how they work. And then the big question, how do we make them better?
Okay, so let's break it all down. X-ray vision activated. First up, U.S. healthcare. We all know it's a lot.
Right.
But what makes it so different from how other developed countries do it?
History is a big factor. See, a lot of countries have more centralized healthcare systems. But the U.S., it's like a patchwork quilt. You've got private insurance, the kind you usually get through work, and then you've got these public programs like Medicare. That's for seniors. And of course, Medicaid, which is for lower income folks, it's all kind of evolved over time, not exactly planned out.
So more like a potluck dinner than a fancy 5-course meal.
That's a great way to put it. And because of that, things can get, messy. Just picture this. You've got multiple payers, private insurance companies, all competing government programs trying to keep up. It's no wonder people find it confusing.
Confusing, absolutely. And also, let's be real, expensive.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other big thing about U.S. healthcare. But are we talking a little pricey, or I need to take out a second mortgage? Expensive.
Think closer to the second mortgage, unfortunately. Let me give you an example. An MRI. Pretty standard procedure, right?
Yeah.
In the U.S., that can set you back over $3,000. But in Canada, covered.
Wow.
Big difference.
It's huge. Okay, so in this whole chaotic U.S. system, what are HCBAs actually doing? I feel like they must need nerves of steel to deal with all of this.
It's true, they really do. One day they might be digging through insurance claims, figuring out why the costs are so high. The next, they're looking at ways to actually improve patient care, but of course they have to work within those tight cost limits.
Right.
It's a real balancing act. For example, you've got the opioid crisis happening in the U.S. right now. A healthcare business analyst might be looking at prescription patterns, trying to figure out where there's overprescribing, and then what can you do? Help develop strategies to, try to fix that.
So it's like they're data detectives.
That's a great way to look at it.
But for healthcare, that's so cool. Okay, let's hop borders, head north to Canada, where their healthcare tagline is basically healthcare is included, right?
You got it.
Right.
In a nutshell, yeah. Canada's got this single-payer model. That means the government is mainly funding healthcare through taxes. Totally different approach.
And I'd imagine for healthcare business analysts, working within that single-payer system is a whole other ballgame. Different puzzles to solve.
Oh, absolutely. Think of it this way. Their job becomes about making this giant government-run system as efficient as possible. And, of course, cost-effective. Let's say you're looking at hospital bed allocation. An HCBA might use data to figure out the best way to assign those beds. Maybe that helps cut down those wait times people always talk about.
So they're like the efficiency gurus.
Exactly.
For a massive nationwide healthcare system.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, that sounds like quite the challenge.
It definitely is.
But even with the whole single-payer thing, I'm guessing there are still challenges.
And probably disparities too, right?
Oh, for sure. You're right. Not everyone has equal access to specialists, for example, or even just resources in general. And those long wait times for certain procedures, those are a real concern, HCBAs. They're super important in spotting those bottlenecks. And then the big question, how do you streamline how care is delivered? But you got to work within the system that's already in place. This has been so interesting. So for everyone listening out there, and myself included, because wow, this is fascinating. Why does understanding all of this matter? Even if we're not, HCBAs ourselves.
Because it affects everybody. It shapes healthcare costs, what choices you even have, the overall health of these entire countries.
That's a big deal.
It is. And we've got technology changing so fast. Telehealth, AI coming into medicine, even personalized genomics. The role of HCBAs, it's only going to become more important. They have to navigate this constantly changing world.
It's like they're trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly.
It's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's a really interesting thought to leave everyone with. How will these healthcare models, US, Canada, All of them. And the HCBAs working within them, how will they adapt? How do they keep up with the future of medicine?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't
I
it?
know, it's really amazing to think about. Well, thank you so much for this awesome deep dive today.
It was my pleasure.